Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. Today, Duane Towes visits with Sharon Page from the National Outstanding Young Farmer Program. Then enjoy this week's Kansas Soybean update. Kyle Bauer and Justin Talley will visit about parasite control in cattle, and then learn how the National Beef Quality Audit has helped the beef industry evolve. We'll end with Plain Talk with Kyle and Duane. Stay with us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Grain Sorghum. Growers working together. Find out more at kansasgrainsorghum.org.
Welcome to Farm Factor. Up first, Duane Towes visits with Sharon Page about the National Outstanding Young Farmer Program.
Duane Towes joining you once again on Ag AM in Kansas, and a chance to catch up with Sharon Page. Talk a little bit about the National Outstanding Young Farmers Program, or NOYEF. Sharon, tell us a little bit about the program, where it started and how long it's been around.
We're the longest standing farmer recognition program. It was started in 1955 by the U.S. Junior Chamber of Commerce, which is formerly known as the JCs, where they recognize leadership in agribusiness.
So Sharon, as far as the program is concerned, is obviously a recognition and outstanding people within agriculture. We know we've got good people here. How do we continue to become involved in an organization like this to recognize them and tell the good story?
Well, we're always looking for a good story, and you can go to our website to apply. For every year we have an award ceremony. You can go to www.outstandingfarmers.com, or you can contact your NACAA ag agent, which could help you fill out the application. We recognize 10 winners every year, but first you have to start with the application, which you can get off of our website. It's a 2-page form. And then we pick the top 25 from there, and they fill out an additional form where we pick the top 10. The top 10 will have an all-expense paid trip to wherever our national convention is. This year it's in Greenville, South Carolina, which is held every February. And from that top 10, they become part of our alumni group. Our alumni group is 1,700 fold, and some of are very active, and some are kind of silent members. From that top 10, they go through an interview process, and they pick 4 national winners. Our national sponsor is John Deere, who's been our sponsor for 41 years. Those 4 winners will get a monetary award. And then the following year, I take those 4 national winners on to Washington, D.C. for an all-expense paid for Ag Week.
We think about what we can utilize those young men and women then for to promote agriculture. I'm assuming you have some great discussions with Congress people there in D.C.
We do. We take them to their congressmen, and we sit down and talk to each one of whichever state wins, to their congressman. We are always part of On the Hill with agriculture, and they give a speech, and we intermingle with all the young adults there and seniors.
Our thanks to Sharon Page with the National Outstanding Young Farmers Program, joining us here on Ag AM in Kansas. Jamie, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Duane. Folks, come back after these messages for this week's Kansas Soybean Update.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways. Of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at kfrm.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays, and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
As fourth-generation farmers themselves, Heinen Brothers Ag Service understands the risk and rewards of farming. So when it comes to quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia, call Heinen Brothers Ag today, 800-760-4964.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
This Medford, New Jersey school bus runs on biodiesel, and so do these. In fact, all of these buses run on clean-burning biodiesel, which is great because the more we use biodiesel in our heavy-duty vehicles, the less carbon pollution in our air. Think how great it would be if more of our school buses ran on biodiesel. More biodiesel, less carbon pollution. More is less. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Nils Bergstein from Holton, who will be a junior at Kansas State, is joining us. And you've had a busy summer, Nils, serving as one of the interns at the Kansas Soybean Commission. What's been your summer like?
My summer's been really exciting. I've got to do a lot of things with the Soybean Commission, part of their advocacy work, and also just learning about the soybean industry as a whole.
Nils, what was your interest in being an intern at the Kansas Soybean Commission?
Well, coming from a farming background growing up, being part of soybeans was something that really went into what I've always done and what I want to do in the future. Our family farms up in Holton, and being part of the Soybean Commission was going to give me a chance to learn about the industry as a whole and not just what farmers do on a daily basis.
The advocacy movement is very important in this time frame, and what agriculture goes up against.
Farmers work really hard, and there's a lot of information out there that might be inaccurate with agriculture as a whole, and the commission does a great job of trying to push really the truth about agriculture as a whole out for the general public, so people know that the food and know that the crops and know that the work that farmers are doing in the state of Kansas is safe for everyone.
What other parts did you enjoy as far as the internship, being a part of and learning about the industry?
Well, we stayed really busy this summer. One of the highlights this summer was the Atchison and St. Joe area there in mid-July. We had an opportunity to tour several businesses and plants in that area that worked with agriculture. Those plants included grain milling, grain handling, and pesticide, insecticide plants there in the upper northeast region of Kansas.
Is this something you're interested in, the business side of it, through your agribusiness major?
Yeah, this would definitely be something that I could see myself working in the future. Being an agribusiness major, I learn about more the technical knowledge behind it, but this summer's really showed me more of what's behind farming. You see the business side, but also what people do on a daily basis behind the scenes.
It's always good to learn new things about that, and maybe stuff you can use back at the family farm too.
You bet. Back at the family farm, I already talk about with my parents about things that other people are seeing other farmers do, and also what maybe the industry sees in the future and how we can implement that to our family farm back at home.
All right, Nils, we appreciate you joining us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That is Nils Bergstein from Holton, who will be a junior at Kansas State and served as one of the interns at the Kansas Soybean Commission. He's been our guest on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Hope you enjoyed this week's Kansas Soybean Update. Stay with us after the break for more Farm Factor as Kyle Bauer visits with Justin Talley from Oklahoma State University.
I will take action against herbicide-resistant weeds. I will know my weeds, and I will stop them before they go to seed. I will do whatever it takes to give my crops the upper hand, and I will use multiple herbicide sites of action because every action counts. I will take action, this time for all time.
The new Better Horses Network is worldwide, presented by Lucas Oil, featuring worldwide radio and TV with iconic hosts like Al Dunning, Sharon Camarillo, Ernie Rodina, Lindy Birch, and Craig Cameron. With American Cowboy, Horse and Rider, Brushy Creek, Cavenders, and Ride TV. Worldwide radio and TV, the all-new Better Horses Network.
Tarwater Farm and Home has been family-owned and operated since its beginning in 1978. What you need for farm and agriculture, lawn and garden, clothing and footwear, and so much more. You'll be surprised at what you'll find in this huge store. They have what you need and lots of it. So come take a look. You'll discover that customer service is first and foremost. Always has been with the Tarwaters. Tarwater Farm and Home, 4107 North Topeka Boulevard. This segment brought to you by Sure Crop. Liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
We're back. Now Kyle and Justin discuss parasite control in cattle.
This is Kyle Bauer. I have the opportunity to visit with Justin Talley. He's with Oklahoma State in entomology, and we're talking about cattle production and insects for the most part. What sort of advice would you like the producers to think about year after year when it comes to parasite and fly control?
So fly control is going to be a continual issue. It's every year we seem to see this issue becoming larger and larger. Some of this is due to resistance, and some of it is due to our weather patterns. And when we have warm summers and warm winters, that usually leads to larger parasite burdens. And whether it's a tick or a fly, that means our seasons are longer. Instead of our season starting in June, it's going to start maybe in April. And in the case for us further south, it started for us in March, where we had to start treating cattle in March this year.
You know, I was surprised. I'm in north central Kansas. We had a tick issue in one pasture this year. Never had it before.
Yeah, ear ticks especially were very problematic for Oklahoma, Texas, and Kansas. That particular tick is called the Gulf Coast tick, and why it's becoming a problem is basically you have some weather patterns that are conducive to it, and then you have available hosts. And sometimes those hosts could mean small ground-dwelling rodents or ground-dwelling birds, such as quail or any bird that's associated with forming a burrow. That tick is associated with that, and then eventually it gets into cattle's ears, and it becomes a major problem, especially during calving season, because they can get on calves' ears and emaciate those ears and cause really, some secondary health issues to a certain extent where they're not performing as well as we would like for them to.
Well, parasite control is a lot of work. It amounts to a lot of money sometimes, but if you don't do it, it can cost a lot of money.
Yeah, so studies have shown repeatedly that especially if you don't have a deworming program, that your costs can go up substantially. And for fly control, it can go up substantially if you don't keep them, below a certain level. Ideal level for horn flies, which is the number one external parasite of cattle operations across the U.S., is around 200 flies per animal. We reached that in Oklahoma in some areas 1st of April, and in certain areas of Kansas, they were reaching that in early June.
Yeah, 200 is not very many, and certainly the cattle, once they're treated, they just look like they have a relaxed attitude right after it.
Yeah, so any kind of treatment provides some relief. So if you want to think of, like in the case of a horn fly, that horn fly is essentially taking 10 microliters of blood per feeding. And from that, they're going to feed maybe up to 24 times a day. And say you have a moderate population that's just over that threshold, say like 270. So that's almost 65 cc's of blood that they're losing on a per day basis if you don't do anything. So when you apply a treatment, it is a certain relief to those animals.
Yeah, besides the biting of it, I mean, it's truly energy that is coming away from them. We're visiting with Justin Talley. Justin is in the entomology area of Oklahoma State University. It's Kyle Bauer reporting. Back to you, Jamie.
Thanks, Kyle. Come back after the break and learn how the National Beef Quality Audit is helping evolve the industry.
Brought to you in part by the 65th Annual Eskridge Labor Day Rodeo, September 2nd and 3rd. If you love rodeo, mark your calendar right now for the 65th Annual Labor Day Rodeo in Ethridge, September 2nd and 3rd at 7 p.m. This is entertainment for your whole family, calf roping, steer mugging, barrel racing, and more. Now let's rodeo.
This is Eric Stonestreet, and as many of you know, I love my home state of Kansas. In March, Kansas ranchers lost homes, equipment, and thousands of cattle from the largest wildfires in the state's history. Imagine losing all you have in a fire. Not just your house, but your livelihood. Ranchers are beginning to rebuild, but it will take years and tens of millions of dollars to build back herds, fences, and other infrastructure. Today, I'm asking you to help. Donate what you can and show your support to the ranchers of Kansas. Simply go to kansasfires.com. Your donation is tax deductible and will go to those who need it the most.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org. Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information. This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and Jeff Savell with Texas A&M.
Like people, cattle can change, and hopefully for the better. A look at 25 years of National Beef Quality Audit data reveals positive trends.
One of the best things that's happened is the improvement of quality over time. Quality is measured by marbling. Quality is measured by percent choice and prime. And that's been one of the biggest changes we've seen over time.
Sable, who's worked on the audit since its 1991 inception, says there's more opportunity than ever to be rewarded for carcass merit.
Obviously, there's greater attention paid today about carcass traits from cattle selection than probably any time in the past. And obviously Angus has been one of the breeds that's led the way in that particular area.
Research shows consumers not only want safe and wholesome beef, they want it to taste good every time.
One of the challenges for cattle producers is really understanding what it is they're producing for the end product. And so we find that a lot of times if the end of your production is as a weaned calf and you have no other way to gather the information after that animal is finished, and gone through a processing plant, you're missing some of the information that will help you make better decisions.
Following calves through the feed yard can answer some of the questions.
And so anytime you can gather carcass information from the top cattle that you're producing, you now have real live information you can use to make adjustments, be able to make improvements in your breeding program so that you know you're meeting what the target is for the beef industry.
That leaves cattlemen with options to decide how and when to sell.
When you think about marketing, think about grid-based marketing and incentives and such, that you're seeing at least more of a market signal that rewards producers for producing higher quality products measured in prime and choice or in top-tiered like programs like Certifying SB for other top choice type programs than what we've seen in the past. And I think the marketplace is starting to respond to that.
I'm Bob Cervera.
Stay with us. We'll be back after the break with Plain Talk.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Clyde Sutton, Nest City, Kansas. Lived on this place all my life. About a year and a half ago, got to where I couldn't saddle a horse. The pain was terrible. Read about stem cell. First it wasn't for me, then they started doing neck and back. Before I went down to Manhattan, the pain I was having from my neck down to my hand was curling my hand back. Some people had thought I almost had a stroke, and my shoulder had drawed up. I couldn't lift, I couldn't sleep, I really couldn't do anything, and was scheduled to be operated on, but was scared of the knife, I guess. Went and had it done. As you can see, I saddled a horse. I'm still building fence. Love to shoot a shotgun rifle, and I'm able to participate, not like I used to, but nevertheless I can do the things I used to do. And I want to personally thank the doctors, nurses, staff at Kansas Regenerative Medicine for the opportunity they give me to have my life back again.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Welcome back. Now let's see what Kyle and Duane are up to today on Plain Talk.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Plain Talk with Duane Towes.
Kyle Bauer, your fact or fiction question of the day. An ancient Hawaiian curse called Pele's Curse warns against taking rocks or sand from the Hawaiian Islands. Native Hawaiians claim that such acts will anger the fire goddess Pele and result in a lifetime of bad luck. Fact or fiction?
Golly, I have not heard of that, and I've had a number of friends that have gone to Hawaii.
How's their luck since?
Well, they seem to go back, so it must not be too bad. On the other hand, they've never shown me any rocks they've taken from there. I will go with fiction.
It is fiction. The Pele's Curse, a modern legend supposedly invented by park rangers trying to keep tourists from plundering the natural rocks and sand of the Hawaiian Islands.
You're kidding. Well, so I have been known to pick up a rock here and there on my adventures. If you look on my desk, you'll see a few rocks.
Was
to
it
be
from
honest,
somewhere
I can't
you shouldn't have been picking them up?
Well, I don't know, but a friend of mine was...
There was no sign.
Quite enamored by my picking up of rocks. And again, they're nothing special. And she said her husband would not let her pick up rocks in Colorado because he said if everybody did that before long, there would be no rocks
left. No rocks left. Colorado. I've been there myself.
It seems like there's a plenty, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm saying there's plenty of rocks.
You ever been on a sand on the beach? You know, if everybody took a cup of sand on the beach,
it'd still be a sandy beach.
It'd still be a lot of sand.
Yeah, I suspect.
Yeah.
However, there are certain places, national parks and places, that they prefer you to not leave your name carved in the tree or things like that. Caves, we've been in a number of caves on family trips, and they're pretty pretty rigid on their rules of not touching things because the oils off your hands and different things like that will affect how things happen in
and people will say, really, me touching this will really make that much difference? No, but 80,000 people a year?
Yeah.
Right. That will.
It's not one isolated incident.
And I enjoy snorkeling, and they always say don't touch anything because, the coral is a living thing. And I have from time to time touched it, not on purpose.
because I back into it or have a terrible accident, and it doesn't.
Suddenly, my tube's full of water. I'm floundering around underwater.
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.